Hey everybody, welcome back to Board and Savior. I am Ben. You are probably not Ben. Just statistically, there's a lot of names that you could have other than Ben, like Jeremy or Mary or Lucinda. Today, we are going to be looking at my 5 favorite thematic board games. What am I talking about when I say a thematic board game? I'm talking about one that sets a scene, that puts you in a world and makes you feel like you are a part of that world while you're playing that board game. There might be things that are just so incredibly intuitive. You get a sense of how this world works and you go, I wonder if I can do this in the board game. And the board game says, well, of course you can, because you understand the rules of this world. And when you understand the rules of the world, you understand the rules of the game. That's what we're talking about here today. Let's get into it. This is Undaunted, a tremendous design from David Thompson and Trevor Benjamin. Wow, you guys, you were cooking with this one. This is not, if you're picturing Saving Private Ryan storming the beaches, it's not that. This is not some grand-scale conflict with hundreds of forces on either side. No, this is something far more personal. Think a little bit later in Saving Private Ryan, where you've got a squad of people who you know, who you care about. It's just a few guys, and they're going up against just a few guys on the German side. It is very small scale, personal. You know those characters in Saving Private Ryan, and you know these guys too. These are not just riflemen and scouts. No, these are named characters. These are Rasmus and Edward and John. People that you know and you care about, and you want to see through this conflict to the other side. Every turn you will draw 4 cards, and you will select one of them to be your initiative for the turn. Now, what I have selected is a Fog of War card, and a card that is entirely useless in the actual action phase of this game when you're playing your soldier cards to do things. Fog of War does absolutely nothing, so of course I'm going to get rid of that, use that for my initiative value. The problem with a value 1 Fog of War card for initiative is that any card my opponent plays that is better than a Fog of War card will make sure that they go first. So let's say that they play a card with a 5. Okay, they're going first, but I've got 3 things to do on my turn, so I'm not all too worried. Well, the first thing that they do on their turn is take a shot at my Scout A, whose name, of course, is John Harris. They roll the die, and oh, they hit him. So what happens? Do I put a damage counter on him? No. If I have any copies of that unit in my hand, removed from the game. If he's not in my hand, removed from my deck or my discard pile. If he is not in my deck or my discard pile or my hand, that Scout A is just removed from the game. You can't use that unit anymore. Oh, maybe I should have made sure that I went first. Seems like it's pretty important. Uh-oh. And now you see the problem of this game. Do you play out those high-value cards that are the cards that will let you do something on your turn? Or do you play out the Fog of War, hoping that your opponent will just miss? Are you willing to risk the lives of people who you actually know the names of in order to potentially get an advantage in the action phase of the game? This game does not make you feel like you are a general commanding nameless, faceless forces. No, you are a boots-on-the-ground sergeant telling perhaps your friend what to do with their turn. And you are responsible then when your friend takes a bullet. This game is thematic in a fantastic way, maybe not like the funnest way, but it is an extremely tense, incredible puzzle, a dance between these two sides. Every time your opponent rolls one of these dice, you will be sweating because you don't know if your buddy is about to take a bullet and if it's your fault. This is Undaunted. What I've got set up here is Undaunted Normandy, which is the first box that they released. Then they came out with Undaunted North Africa, and this is Undaunted Reinforcements, which is a box to hold Normandy and North Africa and add in a little bit of new stuff as well. I would say if you're interested in this, grab Normandy or North Africa. They are standalone boxes where you can see if you like the game itself, and then if you do, grab more stuff. It's up to you. It's your money, and I need it now. That's this one.
Turn your head and cough. Okay. You are all good. Grab a seat. Well, what do you remember?
I was playing Catan with Sleepy Ben and Trenchcoat Ben and Chef Ben.
And I knew what was coming. I knew we were gonna die. And when you did die, it was blurry for a while, a couple of days maybe. And then things started coming into focus. We were, all four of us, in a swirling void between life and death. Where are they?
What else?
We were there for months, and then out of nowhere, a knife flew by. A knife already bloodied. And I remembered the prophecy, blood without wound. And I just had a feeling, because of the next line, wound without pain. So I took the knife and I cut myself open. And the prophecy was right. There was no pain. And then I woke up, but I don't know where I am, and I don't know where the clones are. I think I do.
This is Twilight Struggle by Ananda Gupta and Jason Matthews, and this game takes you through the Cold War. Our last game was personal. It was single missions at a time with just a few named men. This is the exact opposite. The Cold War, 1945 to 1989, entire superpowers. One country, but a country with influence on dozens of others, up against a country just like them. The USA versus the USSR. Huge scale, the exact opposite. Instead of all of your people having names, no, on this board, influence is just numbers. The people that you control in the UK are nothing more than hard numbers to you, nothing but pieces on a chessboard. And what could be more thematic than that? Trying to get me in the mindset of a superpower and then viewing people as numbers? You're crushing it so far. What else goes on in this game? Well, the game is driven, 2 games in a row, driven by cards. And by the way, if you hate war games, don't you worry. The first 2 were war related, next ones aren't. So you'll enjoy the rest of the video. Sorry for the beginning. You've got these cards in your hand, and these cards have 2 essentially important things on them. In the top left corner, there is a little star with a number in it. We'll talk about that in a moment, and then the brunt of it, the title of the card, and then what the heck it does if it's used as an event. I'm looking right now at a card called Special Relationship. If the United Kingdom is US controlled, but NATO is not in effect, which is another card, the US adds 1 influence to any country adjacent to the UK. Okay, so you can use these cards for their event effect, or you can use them for this number up here in the corner in the star. Let's say, for example, that I wanted to use this Warsaw Pact formed card for the 3 operations points in the top left corner. Operations points you can spend to add influence into countries, you can spend to attempt realignment rolls, to change the mindset of people in a country that may be allied with your opponent, or coup attempts, where you can attempt to completely flip a country's influence in one fell swoop, which does unfortunately degrade the DEFCON status and bring you closer to nuclear war. If I'm using this Warsaw Pact formed card for this operations point effect, because obviously I don't want to use it for the event, this is an event that helps my opponent. The card color up here tells you whose event it is. This is a USSR event, so if I'm using this as a US operations card, my opponent gets to do the event. That doesn't sound good. That was like, he's standing right behind me, isn't he? So whenever you use an opponent card, you do get the military operations points, but your opponent gets the event. And you're thinking, how is this thematic? Well, let me speak metaphorically. How often during the Cold War do you think a superpower found cards in their hand they didn't necessarily want to play? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, it happened. It happened throughout the 44 years of the Cold War. There were moments where you would realize, I have to do something right now that benefits my opponent. It might help me in the long run, but it's going to help them right now. Oh, it's good. It's good. And that is the main thrust of the game. And the incredible thing about all of these cards is that they are all directly related to historical events or countries that historically one side would be able to exert influence over, or treatises signed, pacts formed, these kinds of things, all historically based. And there's more in the rulebook. At the back of the rulebook, if you want to learn more about the historical context of any of these cards that you're playing, there is a little paragraph that describes kind of what was going on, what those cards actually mean. This game is thematic because it's real. It actually simulates the things that happened and the feeling of, I'm realizing that a thing is about to happen for my opponent, but I have to let it go through so I can maybe distract over there to put influence over here. It is really great. One of the biggest simulations of war on a scale like this, and it does indeed feel like you are a general, a president in the war room, surveying the map and saying, can we do a coup over here? Can we flip this country toward us? Looking around the room and saying, I think we got this. And then, I mean, effectively, you're just rolling dice in that war room, too. That was a 1. That did not work. That coup fell through, and nuclear war is closer than ever. This game is really, really good. Couple different ways to win or lose. Nuclear war, whoever's turn it is when nuclear war is triggered, they lose the game. Usually you're not losing the game via that. There's also a victory point track for having control in certain regions when a scoring card is played. And so you are amassing your forces in Europe, and your opponent's going, does that mean that they have the Europe scoring card? Maybe I ought to amass my forces in Europe too, just to counter them in case they're doing that. And then all along, you were amassing teeny tiny little forces. Every time you would do that 3 in Europe and 1 over here in Asia, slowly amassing those forces in Asia. See, when you play that Asia scoring card, you get all the points and it feels great. Twilight Struggle. Whoa, it's a dense one, but it's a good one. This is a Game of Thrones The Card Game 2nd edition. A little bit of a long title, but even more designers than title words. We've got for 1st edition, Eric Lang, Christian Peterson, and Nate French, and then the 2nd edition was designed by Nate French and Michael Hurley. I gotta read the little rule book because I can't remember all those names, but I can easily remember Ned Stark and Catelyn Stark, who was formerly Catelyn Tully, and Robert Baratheon and Jaime Lannister and Tyrion Lannister and Tywin Lannister, who's his dad. I can remember those easily. easily because they're fictional, so it's no problem. This is Game of Thrones in a box. If you want to feel like you are a part of the Game of Thrones, leading one of the great houses through the incredible conflicts and intrigue and events of Game of Thrones, this is the game that you should play, no doubt in my mind. How does it work? Well, it's kind of like a classic card game sort of thing. If you've played the Lord of the Rings card game or Marvel Champions, or hell, even like Magic the Gathering, there's a lot of similarities. Magic is, you're all about tapping your things to do things, right? That's what's going on here. But the difference here is that there are 3 challenge types, which are all very Game of Thronesy challenges. There are military challenges. If you win these, you kill an opposing character. Boom. I mean, Game of Thrones. There are intrigue challenges where if you win those, you discard cards from your opponent's hand. Wow. Okay, the intrigue side of things, knowing what your opponents can do and preventing them from doing that. Very Game of Thronesy. And then finally, power challenges. If you win these, you gain a power token. If you have 15 or more power tokens, you win the game. Of course, at the end of the day, it's all about power. It's all about who controls the Iron Throne. So ridiculously great. That framework is, a solid framework for a game. What makes it all better is that these decks of cards contain characters that do things within the framework of the game that are exceedingly thematic. When you read over Robert Baratheon's card, you go, oh, I know why he gets to do that, because that's exactly what Robert does in the books. It's amazing to me how accurately they are able to take a character that is a fully fleshed out, well-rounded character and boil them down to mechanisms where you're like, that feels like Jon Snow. That is what Jon Snow should feel like. And it's great. And they have even, like, depending on which packs you get, they'll have different characters from different eras. So you're like, oh, this is Jon Snow before he went north of the wall. This is Jon Snow afterwards. And they play differently, accurately to how that character feels. Oh, I love this game so much. I would totally like it less if I didn't care about Game of Thrones. This is not a thematic board game where, like, the theme makes me, if I were not a Game of Thrones person, makes me go like, oh, I need to read these books, watch these shows. It's more the other way where, like, if you know what it is, you will appreciate the mechanisms so much more because of how elegantly crafted and fine-tuned they are to match the characters. So, such a winner. When you play the Game of Thrones The Living Card Game, you win, you just win, because it's so fun. This is the level of brain activity that we would expect to see in a healthy adult man. And this is what we're seeing in your brain. Almost exactly 4 times higher, as though there were 4 different consciousnesses rattling around in one mind. I was feeling a little cold, a little sleepy, a little bit like I wanted to bake. We have not been able to find any trace of the clones that you were with. It seems like their bodies vanished around the time that you woke up. You're new. If you're not a clone of me, who are you a clone of? This is Nemesis by Adam Kwapinski, and no, this is not just Alien, the board game. It looks like it, and it feels exactly like it, but these are intruders. They're not xenomorphs. Do we know what their species name is? No. Could it be xenomorph? Yeah. But it's not. It's different. It's different, I swear. But not so different, because if you like Alien, this is gonna be the game for you. It is a game all about sneaking around this ship as quietly as possible so as to not draw the attention of these hideous, horrifying aliens with some, truly gorgeous miniature sculpts that really pull you in. Every miniature in this game is great. The little tokens are all fantastic as well. Now, does that necessarily mean that the game is thematic? No, but does it help get you in that mood? Abso-freaking-lutely. This is a game where every single element is meant to be as thematic as possible. You are searching rooms for items that you would find on a derelict spaceship. You have to go to the back after you wake up from hyperspace to make sure that the engines are on. You have to go to the front of the ship to make sure that you're navigating to the right place, all the while trying to evade these aliens that have somehow snuck aboard your ship. And of course, is there anything more thematic to this alien universe than the motivations of your other players being something you can never quite rely on? You see, at the start of the game, everyone has two objectives, a personal and a corporate objective. And at the top, you're working toward both of those objectives simultaneously. You're kind of seeing where things shake out, seeing which of those two objectives is going to be more doable. Your personal objective is usually one that's pretty positive, like search every room and make sure that you send the signal. Okay, that sounds like not bad things. Then the corporate objectives are often like make sure player 2 dies aboard the ship, which is somewhat less friendly, certainly. But how does it work with two objectives? Well, you see, you're working with two up until one of these aliens actually shows up on the ship. Once an alien miniature is dropped into one of these rooms, the as it were, hits the fan, and you have to discard one of your two objectives, committing to the other one. Now, the entire game so far, you were thinking, I'm just going to send the signal and explore all of the rooms. Then when the alien shows up, 7 rooms are unexplored, and the alien showed up with player 2, who your corporate objective says has to die. And you go, okay, it's looking pretty bad for player 2 right now. I'm just going to say player 2 is going to die here. This is going to be very simple. My objective will be fulfilled. No worries. Then, of course, player 2 survives the encounter, and you have to ensure they don't survive their next one. Oh my gosh. This is one of, if not the very best board game for storytelling. Every single game that I've ever played of this, and there have been some like janky games where things ended really early, but even those janky games tell a very real, compelling, thematic story, and you can feel it, you can visualize it all playing out on board. A fire springs up in one room, causing this player to run away. That, of course, means that they're not moving as quietly. Aliens descend upon them. The friends on the other side of the board are going, can I help them? Can I get over there? One of the friends is like, I want to make sure that none of you can get over there and help them because I need to make sure that that is the player who dies. All of these wonderful little interweaving tales overlapping on top of each other makes this an extremely, extremely unique experience. There is absolutely the possibility for like weird games where things don't go right, but the games where it works are so good, and even the games that are weird tell an interesting story that like you all will remember. And just disclaimer, it's rare for me to have one of those weird games. I think I've played this like maybe 7 or 8 times, and I've only had 1, maybe 2 games that felt a little wonky. For the most part, this one really sings. I will, on the side disclaimer, having just set this game up for this video, that part sucks. Setting up this game is super annoying. There's just so many things. There's so many decks of cards. I mean, like literally, there are 4 different item decks of cards, so that's a lot. Then there's a deck of contamination cards. We didn't talk about contamination. Let's talk about it really quick. There's actually like a secret decoder thing here where you slide contamination cards into the decoder and then it'll tell you whether or not you're infected. I'll show it in B-roll. This is so cool, but you gotta shuffle up the contamination cards. There's events. There's serious wound cards that are shuffled up. Intruder attacks. Everyone has their own unique action card set and their personal items. And it's just like, it's a lot of stuff in the box to pull out and set up. It takes a while to get it going, but like, it's good. It's worth it. I'm happy to set it up because it's so good. This is Nemesis. This is scary. This is Chronicles of Crime, designed by David Cicerel, and if you are a fan of any of those questionable quality police procedurals on network television, you gotta play this game. I'm telling you, just get it. you're going to have a really good time. Because, like in those police procedurals, pretty much every game of Chronicles of Crime starts off exactly the same way. Your boss down at Scotland Yard is like, "Hello, old chap, there's been another murder. Could you please solve it by the end of the day?" And you go, "Yeah, man, I got you. This is what I do. This is what I live for. I'm basically Sherlock Holmes." You're not actually. It's different. You're just like generic. But you're Sherlock Holmes. And who doesn't like that? Then, once you have done that, this is a game that integrates technology and board games. You scan a little QR code to go to the location of the murder, and then augmented reality, you look around a crime scene. Don't worry, this is like a drawing of a crime scene. It's like cartoony. It's not real blood, not real body parts. Do not be alarmed. It's not scary. It's just pictures. It's just pictures. You look around this crime scene and you call out what you see to the other players around the table. You're like, "Okay, there is a knife with blood on it. Scary. On the counter, there's a half-eaten piece of cake. Over here, there's an overturned bottle of pills. A photograph on the wall of our victim with a woman. Interesting. What's going on there?" As you are calling those things out, there is this swath of cards that is going to be all over the table, all of these clues. The other players are looking through these things, looking, books and magazines. Did he say anything about that? Cords and restraining devices? Melee weapons. Great, we got one. Blood and organs. Amazing. They're looking through for the clues that you are seeing in the crime scene. They're finding them. They're sticking them out on this board once you have discovered them. And then, once you've got, you think, a good picture of everything that is important to see at the crime scene, you can start doing a little bit of interviewing, knocking on doors, talking to people. Whenever you go to a location, the game will usually tell you, like, "Hey, pick out these people from the deck. Person number 29 is at Kensington and Chelsea, along with person 16. They are both there." And then you can talk to those people. And you can talk to those people about any of the clues that you have discovered. So you'll scan their QR code to get in a conversation with them. And then you'll scan a QR code of the blood and organs to ask them about the blood on that knife. And if they know something, they will tell you. Or they might not. There are certain moments in this game where you'll know that they're being cagey, and then you'll have to unlock that dialogue through something else. Like, you'll have to get a piece of information and then bring that to them, and they'll be like, "Oh, he figured it out. Okay, there's nothing left to do. I have to just come clean and tell them what I know about this thing." It is just thematic to the nth degree. You might be thinking, though, you're like, "Wait a second, why would I not just scan every single QR code every time I talk to anybody and get all of the information that I could possibly get?" Well, the game thought of that. The whole game is built around this idea of solving this case within a certain amount of time. And pretty much any time you scan a QR code, time comes off the clock. So whenever you're having these conversations, you have to think rather carefully about what you want to talk to these people about. Otherwise, you're just wasting time. Because you might scan her and be like, "Can we talk about the betting?" And she's like, "I don't know anything about the betting." 5 minutes gone. What? Well, how did that take 5 minutes? It took like 3 seconds to say out loud, but that's game mechanisms for you. That's not thematic, but it's, it is thematic. It's just extrapolated a bit. This game is really, really good. There's also like these little experts at the bottom where you can go back to Scotland Yard and talk to like what's this guy? A hacker, you can talk to a doctor, you can talk to a scientist, you can talk to a criminologist, and you can get further insight about the mentality of some of the suspects, or perhaps the DNA analysis from the scientists. So you're working with the experts back at the lab to get further information, and at the end of it all, you scan the killer, and you're like, "I think this is the killer," and the game asks you a couple questions, which is like, "Who do you think the killer is? What do you think the murder weapon was? Why did it happen? Like, what was the motive?" And you answer all these questions, and then you get told whether or not you won or lost, and it's really good. It's really fun. I'm making myself like want to play it right now just talking about it, because you really do feel like a detective. You feel like the Charlie Day with like the cork board, the pin in the push pin in the thing with like the red yarn. You're connecting all these dots, like this person knows something about the cake, knows something about that the cake was poisoned, but they don't know who poisoned the cake. It's great. It's fantastic. You might be wondering how many games of this you get out of a box. I don't totally remember. I'll put it on screen. I think there's like 5 or 6 cases in the base game, and then There are like expansion boxes that you can buy, which add more cases and add new like areas. Like you can do noir style cases or cases in the 1400s. But there's also cases still set in this universe, in this like modern kind of England world, that you can buy for like a couple of bucks, like one-off cases, very police procedural sort of style. They do go on sale sometimes, so I would recommend waiting for a sale. I bought all of them and I just waited until they were on sale, and I got them all on the same day, and it was great. I think it was like Black Friday or something, but they might go on sale at other points throughout the year. I don't know. I genuinely like, if you like solving mysteries, if you like that feeling of discovering things, if you like escape rooms, anything like that, you really, really, really should play this game. This is, for my money, like the best mystery solving, case cracking board game that there is. Yeah, every once in a while you have to like tilt the card to get the QR code to scan. Mostly it works flawlessly, and yeah, it's just every once in a while it's like a little bit annoying. But this game is so freaking good. So good. Please play it and tell me about it. What are your experiences? Because I want to live vicariously through you and do the cases again for the first time through you. Please. I love it.
Don't worry, I am one of Neb's clones, but try to understand, he's not the picture that you painted of him.
No?
No. You locked him up. You locked him up, and all he did in response was put you to sleep.
Indefinitely. And he moved everything I own and my body. I don't even know what state I'm in right now.
Calm down.
Calm down. I have 4 minds inside my head right now, and they're all talking. I need a coat, I need a nap, I need a cookie, and I need you to get out of my fucking way.
We would like to keep you here for observation. It is for your own safety.
It's very sweet of you, but I'm leaving.
Ben.
Tell Neb I'm coming for him. Thanks for watching. Please leave a comment down below with your favorite thematic board games, and like the video, subscribe for more. Goodbye.